Hey everyone, this is Steyn, and today's video is all about maximizing training recovery. So in today's video we will be discussing 5 key points that in my opinion are crucial towards your recovery time and your recovery from training sessions. And with that all being said, let's get started. The first point on the list is going to be nutrition. In my opinion, nutrition is one of the most important keys when it comes to recovering from your training sessions. And I'm sure you've all heard the fact that 80% of what your physique looks like is determined by the nutrition you eat, and the remaining 20% is training. So you can see why nutrition is such an important key in recovery. So whether you're on a traditional bodybuilding diet which focuses on moderate fats, high carbs, or a ketogenic diet which focuses on low carbs and high fats, they both have something in common. You need to focus on high protein intakes. So with that being said, protein is extremely crucial in recovery. Protein is going to allow your body to create muscle protein synthesis, which is your body's way of repairing itself after muscle protein breakdown, which occurs during training sessions. A good rule of thumb of how much protein to consume would be 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. The second point is going to be cycling your training intensity. It is very important for us to focus on different aspects of our training and structure it in such a way that we're not always going with maximum or training with maximum intensity. I myself have fallen victim of this, as last year I heard a very famous bodybuilder, I'm not going to mention names because I don't want any controversy to come up, but basically he said you need to work hard, work very, very hard. And what I thought that meant was just push myself in the gym constantly as much as I could. So I found myself doing upwards of 30 sets per body part a week and trying to go to failure for every one of those sets. And as a natural lifter, you can just imagine the disaster that was being made. I eventually realized that it wasn't doing me any good after months of not making any gains at all. It put me in a state of overtraining where I was feeling extremely unmotivated to train, and my appetite was lost, and I developed insomnia, and everything was just going wrong. So what I decided to do was structure my training intensity. I decided to do a 4-week cycle which focused on week 1 being moderate intensity, week 2 building up on that intensity, and then week 3 going all out. And then week 4, which was a deload week. So now a deload week is when you drop your training intensity or volume or weight used by 30 to 40%. And what this is going to do is it's just going to put your body in a state of maintenance for that week, but it's also going to help your body recover fully, and it's going to benefit you over the long run. The third point I want to mention is hydration. Your muscle cells are made up of 80% water, so you can just understand exactly why hydration is extremely important when it comes to bodybuilding. You need to ensure that you're getting an adequate amount of water during the day to ensure that your muscles stay hydrated. This will also give you better pumps during your training sessions and will also allow you to feel fuller and healthier and more energetic throughout the day. A good rule of thumb to go about is to consume 3.8 liters to 4.5 liters of water per day. And for every half an hour that you're training in the day, consume 500 milliliters of water. The fourth point I will be mentioning is supplementation. I will be mentioning 3 key supplements which I think will aid and benefit you in your recovery from training. The first supplements I'm going to mention are branched-chain amino acids, also known as BCAAs for short. Now BCAAs are essentially the building blocks of muscle protein synthesis. And as mentioned earlier on, muscle protein synthesis is the repairing of muscle cells after they have been broken down during a training session. Now the second supplement I'm going to be mentioning is glutamine. When you train and you create micro tears within your muscle fibers, lactic acid is released. Now what glutamine essentially does is help drain out this lactic acid. I'm sure many of you have experienced DOMS, also known as delayed onset muscle soreness, which is an occurrence of lactic acid staying behind in your muscle cells after days of training. Now glutamine will help aid in flushing this out and regulating the levels within your muscle cells. And the third supplement I'm going to be mentioning, which is quite a controversial topic, is CBD. The reason I'm saying it's controversial is because it is a substance that comes out of the marijuana plant. Many people will stray away from using it as they'll say that they don't want to get high or they don't want to buzz or anything like that. But what people don't realize is that CBD is the non-psychoactive chemical within marijuana. CBD is actually a key ingredient in helping people with inflammation, pain relief, and which brings us to our next point, a great night's sleep. When you're not training, you need to ensure that you're getting adequate amounts of rest. See, what people don't realize is that you don't grow while you train, you grow while you rest. When you're training is when you're breaking down the muscle, and when you're resting is when you're repairing the muscle. I suggest just resting throughout the day, trying to do something that doesn't involve you on your feet all day. I also don't recommend doing something like watching TV the entire day. I recommend doing something constructive, such as reading articles, books, working on something that you enjoy, but just ensure that you are not on your feet too often or too much of the day. And with that being said, you also need to focus on sleep. I recommend getting 8 to 10 hours of sleep per night, and I know this sounds like a lot for many people who are working and training at the same time. You can even bump it down all the way to 6 hours of sleep per night, but that really is pushing it. But if you wish to get adequate results, 8 to 10 is what you should aim at. That's it for this video today, and I really hope you enjoyed it and really learned something from this video. I promise you I will be posting videos very shortly. And if you guys have any advice on what videos you would like me to share, please just let me know in the comment section down below. And if you really like this video, please like the video, subscribe to it, and share it with your friends.